Hello, Neon here, second episode in my developer log, modifying animations. I recorded a load yesterday and realised that the obs capture was only picking up on the main Unreal window, so it missed half of the content I was bringing up. So we'll try again today. I'll have to remember to dock things. So we're going to start from scratch just to explain how you get to the animation state. So best place is to start with an open level. Just got a piece of floor in it, sunshine in the sky. And the first thing we need to do is create a level sequence. So we can open up the sequencer window. Here we are, sequencer. And from the sequencer tab, we will add a level sequence. Well, here's one I made earlier, so we'll just call that test. We should close this and start a previously opened one later. That brings us in, and we want animation mode. So there I have my sequence. I'll get it right, and the modifier. So first thing we want to do is bring in our character model. Let's put it there. Some shortcuts. Right, so we've got the character. Bring that into the world. Just want to centralize that to 0, 0, 0. And there we are over there. And in this instance, we also want to bring in the knife mesh. So there's a melee weapons, TT7 mesh. So stick the knife in the world, and again we'll centralize that. So then back to the sequencer. So we want the character. So add the character to the sequencer, and where's my knife? Just easier to select it here rather than trying to click on the little thing down there. And again we'll add that to the sequencer. So we've got the character and the knife. We want to attach the knife to the character on the weapon bone. Oops, didn't want to do that. Start what I'm doing. Oh, there's no reader. Let's try it again. Attach to character. Weapon point. That's the one. Okay. So we will. So there's two options for getting the knife in the right direction. One is to leave it in its default position and animate it into the right orientation, and the other way is to reorientate it and animate it afterwards. So I think as we're going to redo the animations for the knife, rather than mess around with the offset for the knife, which we could do here, something like that, 90 minus 90, yeah, so I could do it that way. If I offset the knife here from its default position, what I would have to do within the game files is we have data tables where we can store offsets but what I've been trying to do with the new animations is remove the need to have the offsets here and actually get them in the right position in the first place. So I'm just going to have a think, and then rather than mess around switching the weapon point upside down and back to front on the character, I'll keep it in its standard position, which is how we have all of the other weapons, and we will stick to having the knife adjusted in the data table. Just thinking, did you actually see the data table? Yes, you did. Okay, right. So that's that positioned. Back to sequencer. Right, so now the weapon's there in the hands, the character's set up. Or then, good point is every now and again just save, so if it crashes for any reason you don't have to do all this setup again. It gives you a good starting point that once you've saved your level sequence you can modify a couple of animations, bake them out, drop something else back in again, and you've got your saved setup for next use. Now I'll just hit pause, and I don't know how much I've cut out, so hopefully this is the position we were in when I paused in the first place. It's difficult trying to talk about what you're doing and concentrate on animating at the same time. So we're going to go into our weapons folder, go back to the knife again, and select an existing animation. So we should take this one, drop it in on the character. So that's the default idle pose. Let's get this in. So that's the existing stab animation that we have. Let's do it from this position. So it was just a quick rough and ready animation that I stuck in when we converted over to the G9. It's not particularly good. It's just kind of a, yeah. So what the idea is, at the moment we only have one stab animation. An idea that someone mentioned on Discord the other day was to have let me go in content browser, multiple randomly picked stab animations. So what I've had to do is create where are we? So by default you usually have one animation in an animation montage, and that's the one you play. It's the only one you can play. Modified some of the code so you can have more than one animation within your montage, so we can have some different styles of stabbing. And the idea with that is with some of this stuff, written some code in the background that runs on the weapon. What's going on there? To randomly select one of the animations, so we can stick 1, 2, 3, 4 animations in whatever we choose, and then when you're attacking it will play the various different animations at random. So what I'm going to do now then, to start modifying, using this as the base animation, starting to modify. If you remember from the last episode, we bake, oh no, not that one, bake the animation to the control rig. So this uses the backward solve on the control rig to get the animation and put all the controls in place. and a few other things that you may remember. So what happens now is if I start trying to move the hand around, the knife doesn't move with it. So we need to grab the weapon control. We'll delete out the animation keys for that, and we will attach, get the right one, and parent that control to the hand control. So then when we move the hand control, the knife now moves with it. Right, back to the sequencer. So the hand is also already animated, but we're going to go for a different design. So I'll keep the start and end frames. Always leave 2 frames at the end. Reason for leaving 2 is the animation actually finishes on the last step before it then blends out. So if you have something different going on the second to last frame, you'll sometimes get a jump because it won't play the last frame at the end of the stop. Need to make sure my stopper's in the right place. Yeah, essentially it doesn't actually play that frame because that blends back into the start. So now what we have is so the character still does its lunging movement, but the knife's not doing anything. And this is where we're going to start to. So we want, how long is this animation? 30 frames, so it's a second long. So we probably want a quick stab and then a slash across the front. So when the character's kind of is uppermost, let's go and look from the top position. Got a movement, we're in weld mode. So what we will do, so we're aiming to kind of come out and slash across, so kind of that movement. So we'll probably go for this line, which is I think that's a meter. What's that? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, so that's a meter, about 1.5 meters in front of the character. That can be right. Let's check what my measurements are. Our measurements, so we want to get those in tens. There we go. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 75. Yeah, it sounded looked a bit of a long way. 75 centimeters from center. So that'll be our marker point, and that's our center line. So that's where we're going to kind of slash across, and that's where it will hit who we're attacking. So the crosshair will be there. We'll probably, what do we want? Put some rotation on. Should do it in world space. So we'll bring the knife forwards, and as it comes round, we'll kind of bend the wrist. Probably about there. So we can come back. So at the moment, that's just going to go forwards and back. What we want is it to lunge out over to this side, and then lunge back over the other side. So just starting to build up, although it's kind of quite square at the moment, the circular motion, which later on we can go into the curve editor and smooth out some of these. But I'm just building things up initially, out and slash. So we go forwards from there. Catch that. Zoom in on this and see we're working a bit better. Probably move that frame back a fraction. Move it back one in the middle, so we probably want to then be somewhere out here. Start to rotate a bit. That'll probably be a bit more over there. Give a bit more rotation. So we go out. Yeah, we can do things a bit more fancy. We can make a whole animation, save it, bake it out, and then go back and tweak it afterwards. So we're out, around, slashing across a little bit. That probably still wants to be a bit more prolonged. Slice. And also this is just in two planes at the moment, so we'll sort the up and down afterwards. Let's see how that's looking. Probably needs to be a bit faster. Do some more with the left hand, but that's okay for starters. Where else are we? So let's have a back to perspective. See what that looks like there. Yep. So in the side view, so it's actually quite low, so we probably want to pick the arm up a bit as well. Maybe we want to slash upwards as we're going out. So it might be I want to start a bit lower. Try to think, what do we want to do? Slash up or slash down. We kind of go up and over and down, I think. So this probably wants to be higher. Where are we on the screen? There needs to be higher again. Got to run out of reach to the body, so I might need to put the body forwards a little bit later, but again, it's fine for now. So how are we going for that? So we're going up. Up to the full extent. And we're kind of slashing downwards. All the way down. Let's see what we're going with that. Got a bit quiet, concentrating, so just talk amongst yourselves. Do a bit of whistling, whatever takes your fancy. Right. we probably want to get a bit of twisting going on, so let's get back into perspective mode and have a look, see what it looks like from the first person view, roughly. Wrong button. So it's going quite, looks like forward, so I probably actually want to go up a bit higher with some of this. Where's the eye level? Eye level's in front of the head. Get out of the way. I need to do some stuff because the wrist looks a bit manky as well. So we're going up and slashing down. Slashing down, so we've kind of got the slashing movement okay-ish. Again, small steps just for the purpose of demonstration. I shall spend quite a bit more time on it later. Sorting it out. Let's get some rotation going on the wrist. Let's get back into where we're going with that. So we're spinning the wrist a little bit. I suppose I could put some upward rotation on it as well a little bit. Up and slice down. And bend that wrist a little bit. So this you can mess around with, actually start moving the where the elbow's pointing. I'll have to straighten some of that out because I've got some more stuff going on with the knife. But I think that's probably, stop that. Yeah, so with regards to, just quickly before I cancel it, rather than getting you to sit there and watch the whole video, essentially with some of these movements, so we can look at the location and we can add some more keys in to smooth some of these out. Okay, there. So again, you can kind of play around with some of these. We can also we don't want linear. So what so we can select all of those keys. I should tell you, I'll get rid of that one I've just entered. Didn't need that one. Select all of these, and you can essentially change the, what was it called? The type of curve you put on it, so you can go like a constant gives you a sudden snap. Linear is obviously from one to the next. Smart auto is quite a useful one. What that does, I always find when you can see, so it smooths out some of the curves, so it gives you these little control arms, so you can play around with the linearity between the different positions. It just allows you to smooth some of the movements up a little bit. So again, you can go through and set that for all of. I could do them all at once. Let's get that on that. Just as an example. Smart auto is usually a good way to go, unless you've got specific things you want to do. There you go. So you kind of put some nice curves in. Always seems to start from one end, so sometimes you do have to tweak them a little bit. The same with the rotation, so we can grab all of these. Sometimes if you make everything smooth, it actually looks too fake. So sometimes it does help to actually have some sharper movements in there. Yeah, I don't think you can. So what does that do? Let's have a look back at this sequence. We'll do it now. So you see, just actually, that's not bad. Actually, you get a lot smoother movement. I think I've added an odd step in there, so the knife's twitching a little bit. I'll probably take out one of the keys or something. But essentially, so once you're happy with what you've got, again, as you remember from the last video, we then bake that to an animation sequence. Knife test. Export that. So I'll leave that there. Actually, we can leave that. Right. So that's the animation we've made. What I can do is then drop that in there. Grab the knife attack montage, and I want to call it knife test, wasn't it? Knife test. I'll tell you what, we'll drop that in a few times. So let's get rid of that one. Knife test, knife test. So just to demonstrate so this should mostly play knife test, but occasionally play the original animation. So we'll save that. Go and have a look in the world. And play. Hopefully you've been seeing what I've been doing. I think I've remembered to tab everything up there, so OBS picks it up. So we have knife, the shaders to cook in. Right. So that's the stab slash stab slash. Yeah, so that's the animation we've created, and that was the original one. So you can see it's randomly picking different. So if we get 3, 4 or 5 different knife animations, it will just add a bit of variety. As I can see there, the knife slashing too low as a practice of what I actually need to do. Like with the stab, it goes out to the crosshair. I need to get the slash going a lot higher. Yeah, anyway, that's that. Hope that's been informative. And yeah, stick around for the next episode.